Hi Saggitarius, welcome to your romantic love reading for the month of December 2018. This channel is called The Witching Hour. My name is Michelle and I'm a witch. That is my cat Tattle. She'll be making cameo appearances and you'll probably hear my other cat, Danny. She's lurking about. So let's get started. I'm just going to do a FaceTime type reading. And because I feel like I haven't really looked at you guys face to face, and I know it's all on camera, but it does make a difference. I know that sounds strange, but it does make a difference sometimes. I just want you to see me instead of just the cards in my hands. So anyway, it's more personal this way for me. I've laid out 3 cards that are face down. I have not seen them yet. This is just for past, present, and future energy regarding romantic love. And then I'll get the underlying energy through those 3 cards, and then I'm going to do a regular layout with my cards, my soul to soul divination and oracle cards. Okay, so let's begin. I'd like to evoke the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit for a true and accurate reading for the romantic love energies of the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, however it places in your chart, and those otherwise intuitively led to watch this video. So what we have first for the energy of the recent past, could be distant past too if you're on a long relationship journey, past energy of Sagittarius romantic love is the moon. Cycles. So yes, karmic cycles is the very first thing that came to my mind. Ooh, I'm getting a lot of energy off of this card. And from the whole thing, from the whole layout in general. And I don't know what's coming. And in saying that, that's what I feel some of the energy is. I don't know what's coming. Some of you, maybe a lot of you are saying, I don't know what's coming. And some of you feel apprehensive or have felt, since that is past energy. I feel that some of you have cleared some things up, tied things up, wrapped things up, you know, and that coincides with the holiday season of wrapping things up, the end of the year, wrapping up the end of the year. And it's leaving you feeling apprehensive about what's next, okay? But it is a karmic cycle. So what you can trust is, and I won't say karmic in the sense of how it's generally used nowadays. What I mean is there are loads of life lessons in this cycle that you are now wrapping up. The universe has it in hand, are the words that I'm getting. The universe has it in hand. So you will experience certain thematic elements in your life coming to pass regarding your love, romantic love relationships that the universe has in hand. So in other words, there's no getting around, without sounding threatening or ominous, because it isn't. There's no getting around certain elements you will need to experience because they're the life lessons your soul has called to itself and planned ahead of time for. In that sense, it's karmic, okay? And it should, they're saying, let that give you a sense of trust and let it put your mind at ease, trust, relaxation, rest in it, like rest in the hands of the universe and the divine. Just let it happen. Let certain things happen. Just have that overall demeanor, and to stop thinking that things are so ominous, you know, because they're not necessarily. The things that the universe has planned, whatever feels uncomfortable will have the antidote right there with it. So if something makes you feel stressful, then that stressful event contains within it the peace of mind that you need, because everything contains the opposite of itself. Okay? So for that scientific formula of everything that, to everything that has an action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it's like, and every problem contains the solution within itself. So they're saying that all of that said, let that put your mind at ease, that these are universal things. The divine has them in hand. This is what you've been learning and will continue to learn and experience. Only the lesson now is to remove the apprehension about it, to cultivate trust, okay? Trust is the underlying main issue here. Trust in the universe because of what you've been experiencing in your relationships, the changes and the shifts and the cycles, okay? So presently we have that new beginning of spring, the Watchtower of Spring. This is like getting a major arcana in the tarot. In this deck, which is, by the way, which is Wisdom Oracle deck. Okay, there's the cover of the book by Barbara Michael John Free and Flavia Kate Peters, illustrated by Richard Crooks. These cards in this deck, the Watchtower cards, are like a major arcana card in a tarot deck, okay? These amplify the cards that are flanking them. So this amplifies the feeling of those cycles coming to an end and beginning a new cycle. And those of you might be feeling relieved that this is the turn of a new cycle. Whatever lessons you didn't learn are, it's okay. Just keep with the flow, keep with the momentum, and try, and you'll get to anything you didn't know will cycle back around for you to learn. When the time is appropriate, you're not going to get it all at once. That's what they're telling me to say. And the next card is, see, it gets better and better. The next card is fertility. The card of Beltane with the energy of fertility. And look at that couple. So we're talking hot, steamy romance here. Hot, steamy sexual energy. You get the spring first and then the flowering of the summer and the goddess energy. But the god and goddess uniting. But where it's hot and passionate. Now, they told me to take special note of what's underlying the deck, is what they said. Okay, Book of Shadows and Secret. The energy of secret underlying. I'm seeing under the ground, like seeds under the ground, not ready to sprout yet, but they will. So this is that feeling of apprehension. The newness is coming. The newness is coming. If it's an old relationship cycling out, the new one is coming in. To put your energy into the manifestation powers of and getting clear about what you really want, this time around. They're saying that that's the most important lesson, is to allow whatever has happened to clarify for you what it is you truly want. And it requires a lot of self-honesty. Trust me on this. I know. You will have to see during this time of Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde, you'll be able to identify the things in love that you did not want there. Mercury retrograde will help you articulate it once it's passed. Once Mercury retrograde is passed, you'll be able to articulate more clearly what it is you don't want, and then go into the cycle of what it is you do want. Much more specifically, they're saying to simplify, simplify, simplify. They're reiterating that a lot. Okay, before I begin, I'm going to light a little sage and once again evoke the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit for this romantic love reading. For Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising, however else it places in your chart, however else you are intuitively led to watch this reading. You don't have to be Sagittarius even. This is a channeled reading, okay? I am not so much the one on the academic type of readings, although I do know the academics of the card. I have a working knowledge of tarot, but mainly I am a medium, and I have all the clairs, clairvoyant, clairaudient, etc. This one's flipping up. Okay. Now these are my soul-to-soul divine oracle and divination cards that I made myself. We're getting the, I know it's crazy, but this means something to me. This is the card of food. And it's popping out of the deck because this season and this next cycle is about you nurturing yourself. It's about getting back the flavor of life again. and your fires being relit. And they will be. Oh, they will be. Okay, they're saying to cut the deck. And then I'm going to still hand select each one. So the energy's coming in for love. We're going to focus on the other, the partner, whoever that is, okay? What I'm getting is the card, it's mother and child, but this is more about leadership. This is about leading and someone else following, okay? As you do with your children. So this is a person you're going to feel safe with. Those of you who have had to steer the boat too much before and be the leader in the relationship, and that's the cycle you want to end. You want someone to follow a little bit. You want someone who's trustworthy, reliable, dependable, mature is the word I'm getting. You want someone where you're not the one doing all the work. You're not the one leading everything. You're not the one, in other words, you don't want a silent partner, okay? You don't want a silent partner. You don't want to be submissive to someone else. And you don't want to have someone who's submissive to you, letting you make all of the major decisions and do all the major work to keep the values. I mean, to me, that doesn't sound like a relationship at all. It sounds like having a child, you know. And even with our children, we're teaching them to become independent, not codependent. And so what I'm feeling is all the codependency and all of those issues that you don't hold within you, but that someone kind of cultivated the feeling of codependency, not you, but the other person. And there was always that imbalance of power. There always felt like there was an adult and a child. It didn't feel like an adult relationship of two adults. And I'm feeling a lot that the feminine energy, who, regardless of your gender, the feminine energy is what drove. You had to take up energy to compensate for what the other person wasn't giving. You were acting out the relationship for the both of you, okay? And instead, what's coming in, or what you've identified that you do want, and you know this now, beyond any shadow of a doubt, and you know you have to make decisions about it, is that you want someone who is capable of leading. It doesn't mean you're gonna be submissive all the time, but you know you want someone who's capable of leading, someone who has their big boy pants on, you know, or big girl panties. But I'm feeling a lot. You want the masculine energy to drive, and you want to follow. In other words, like when you're dancing, usually the masculine energy leads and the feminine follows. It doesn't mean she's submissive. Doesn't mean she loses her power. Regardless of your gender, those are how the energies work. And yes, the masculine does lead, but that does not mean we're submissive. It means we're equal in power, but that he's showing up. The masculine energy is friggin' showing up for a damn change. And that's what's coming in. And you recognizing this. And I'm feeling some of you do have to like tweak some things, and it might require, if you haven't already left that type of relationship dynamic behind, that you will be. And you're ready to do that now because you want someone who's mature enough to lead. Okay, that was a lot of reiteration about one thing. How you're coming together is through the healing, the illumination. The illumination, this is my sun card. Healing, illumination, balance. Brightness of light in the relationship, honesty, everything is above board. You can see it coming. You have clarity. That's what's coming. That's how you meet each other. That's where you come together. That's where you come together. And your impressions will be that this is someone who makes your heart sing. This is someone who is harmonizing with you. They harmonize with you. That's the word I'm getting. This is the card for music. And yes, you could be meeting some people at events that involve music or have music in the background, but it's mainly about listening too, is the energy I'm getting. Listen to the sound of your own heart beating. Listen to what you want. Listen. And this person listens to your heart. This is the type of person you want if you're not with that person already. This is the kind of person you will be with. Okay? And for those of us, not us, because I'm not, but us collectively, in a relationship already, those of you in a relationship already, this is about harmony. That's what I'm feeling and what they're saying. It's about harmony. That kicking the balance out a little bit actually will harmonize the relationship, because it was leaning too much the other way. Too much of a imbalance of power. And now kicking it out of its typical norm and status quo is really what's recalibrating it back into its proper balance. Might feel imbalanced to you, but you know that you're recalibrating it, and it's more back in balance. The overall, the effect that this person has on you is you have been clearly able to identify what it is you truly value most in your life, creating your life for you. Some of you have had to become empowered to identify your own true value system again, or recreating it again. You want to be with someone who doesn't require for you to constantly reinvent the wheel, because they're always changing the rules. They're always iffy and flaky, and you're more solid about what you want. And this is the overall effect that even a bad relationship had on you. This is the gold you got out of it. Was that lesson learned? But for those of you going into relationships, new ones, or calling one in, manifesting one in, I'm feeling that you are absolutely, unequivocally, uncompromising about them having the same value system as you. And I don't sense that you're being dogmatic at all. I feel that you're being very, very grounded and very aware. And it's like, I will not take any substitutes. I want the real thing. And you will get it, because if that's what you're focused on, you will be getting it. I do feel that some of you will be getting someone who strengthens your values, who adds value to your life, who is a long-term investment. Yes, worth the long term. The overall effect that this person will have on you, is the gold. And now the nature of the relationship. This is my crystal card. So what this means is it gives you clarity. It re-energizes you. It makes you more your true self. It brings you back to that feeling of being pure at heart. For those of you having to do this for yourself, this is where you're at in this cycle of the relationship game, you know. Not to call it a game in an insulting way, but it's like you kind of understand the mechanisms of it. You know how to play your cards right, to be, you know, honest. It's like you see it that way, and that's good, because you're identifying the patterns. Now, any challenges, or what I like to call a crucible of the relationship, and this is like the sticking point, it's where things come up. It's where your shadows come up to be looked at, and these particular points will either drive you apart in some ways, not to necessarily break up, but it's what they'll either make you feel a sense of separation, and that's where you know that that's what I have to look at in order to bring us together. And that's why I call it the crucible. So what I'm getting is, this is my card for the spirit animal of the tiger. So this is all about, from my personal journey work and experience, this is about self-empowerment. It's about a balance of power. It's about one being able to languor and languish, or just lie there and rest, while the other one is more alert and on guard. And then they switch roles. You see what I mean? Whereas before, like I said, it was too much like having a child. And you were the one always doing all the work and being the mature one. And now you're going to be with someone who holds the maturity, who leads the dance. And this will be what you're looking at in that next relationship. You will be. And I'm getting to say, stop going over that in the current relationship. If it ain't fixed by now, it ain't gonna be, is the feeling I'm getting. And you can hope and address this type of dynamic over and over and over again, and they're always going to be the one down here, and you're always going to be the one on alert. If it hasn't fixed itself by now, it isn't going to, because the other person needs to utilize and exercise their free will choice and conscious choices about their self-empowerment. You can't continue to light a fire under someone's ass, really, is what I'm getting. So if that dynamic has not changed, it won't, is what I'm getting. That dynamic doesn't change because it's really up to the free will choice of the other person. And you can inspire and influence all you want till you're blue in the face and till you feel like you have no energy left anymore. And it won't change them. They have to do it themselves. It has to be a free will choice. And you can influence, but it doesn't change. It has to be free will choice on their part. They have to do the work. And the thing is, their excuses have dissuaded you from... There are people who hold this dynamic that their excuses distract you from seeing the bigger picture. And they get you focused on the detail of the excuse. But I can't right now, but I will. The change is always right around the corner. And that's what they're saying, is that's the type of dynamic that never changes. It's a person who's not taking responsibility for themselves and not taking responsibility in general in a relationship. They might be responsible in other areas in life, but that only serves their self-interest, and it doesn't serve their self-interest to serve your interests in a relationship. So what does that tell you? You know what I mean? Not that I'm giving you advice personally and saying break up with that jackass. You know, I'm channeling your energy and the energy of spirit, so I'm speaking all the things that you're feeling. And so if what you're feeling is, quote unquote, I need to break up with that jackass, then this is your validation. So please don't take this as me telling you what to do, because I do not do that. And I don't take responsibility for anyone's choices based on viewing my readings, okay? I don't do readings like that. So I just want you to know that. Yeah, honey, I want a divorce because the weird witch lady on YouTube told me that yeah, of course not. I don't want you to do that. So the outcome is family. For all its intents and purposes, whatever it is, all the goofy, doable dysfunction, right? Families are such a mixed bag anyway. The outcome of this relationship is a crazy mixed bag of all kinds of different personality types, right? Now, so what you want to do is know, well, who's painting themselves into this picture and who's painting themselves out. You have to release control enough to let it play itself out and hold on to the only thing you can control is your free will choices. That your freedom is your power, and you have the power and the freedom to choose what is most important to you, and that's all you have control over. Excuse me while I tweak the camera a tiny bit. So anyway, so not to get too lecturing about it. Anyways, but I'm just voicing the dynamics, okay? Not advice giving. It sounds that way because I'm empathic, so I feel your feelings. So I'm mirroring what you're feeling or thinking, but it doesn't mean that I'm condemning any of your choices or giving some kind of personal opinion at all. Once you get to know me better and my reading style, you'll come to understand that. Being empathic is it kind of puts an interesting spin on a reading. So the overall outcome is family and unity and solidarity, but is it? You have to be able to determine and draw those boundary lines and see the bigger picture and see if this really is everything that you want it to be, based on how does it make room for your self-empowerment. Does this relationship have room for your self-empowerment? Does it give you does it put you in a position where you're the one with all the power, and yet you seem, does it create a balance of power for you? And that's what you're going to be finding out. And people need to be left to their own devices, and you have to make your own choices. And that's basically the message of what that outcome card is saying. Now, the overall effect on you is fate, twin flame. If you're leaving a relationship dynamic, it's because you're on your way to this 1111 twin flame. This card is my personal experience with 1111 before it was cool, before it was even out there in the new age thing. I'm kind of old. I'm 51. And this, I started seeing this back when I was 13, back in 1980. And I wasn't big into understanding and knowing, even though I have a lifelong interest in the paranormal and the occult, etc. I didn't, this wasn't a buzzword back then, at least to my knowledge at 13 years old. This was my personal experience. I'll explain that in another video. But what it means to me is the overall effect is going to be one that's divinely fated. And you can rest and rely on that, like I said earlier in the reading. The universe has this in hand, but you have to focus only on you. Focus only on you and cultivating your self-empowerment. And finding and being with someone who is going to bolster your self-empowerment, not take it away, and not make you feel like you're left holding the bag, being the only responsible one in the relationship. What are you going to learn at this time? Freedom. Freedom. A lot of you are exiting the relationship towards your freedom, and that's the motivating, driving force. Some of you are going to be traveling together. You're moving, and you have reinforced your balance of power. You guys are on the same page, and you are going to hit the road, Jack, together and go off and explore together. This is what's going on. Your sense of exploration and your sense of excitement together. And you're starting a new life, a whole new dynamic, and you almost feel like you want to leave your physical environment and leave completely, leave behind your physical environment completely and go start a new life somewhere. Like, go west, young man, we're going to be going together and starting and taking the kids and the dogs and the cats and everybody. We're all going to do it. And some will be left behind. Some people in your life, part of the old dynamic, will be left behind. And that's okay. And you can always come back to it later. For some of you, so in other words, like, make it comfortable. It doesn't have to be a sad change. It doesn't have to be a sad change. Just keep your mind on the positive. Those of you leaving a relationship, you feel the positive more than the negative. You feel that your self-empowerment is way more important than keeping the relationship together, especially if you're the only one doing the work anyway. And you feel more empowered now, and they're saying the same thing to me, like, don't let it be a sad ending, even though of course you'll feel sad, and no one's insensitive to that. But don't make that a process of recovery, of leaving and how sad it is and all of that. It's like, that will be there anyway, and to respect, and your feelings about it are respected and honored. But in your mind, clarify that this is a positive change, and allow yourself to believe and have faith that there is a lot. This is meant to be, and this is meant to be. The real one is coming. The real one is coming, and you're going to meet them on that path. You're going to meet them on that path. You won't be changing the current one into the one they're supposed to be or helping. You're not going to be doing that. The real one is coming. The universe has the real one for you. And that's who you've been feeling in your heart, calling you all this time. But you're the one who had to allow the metamorphosis and change in yourself to become who you truly are, who you always knew you are, in order to come out of that shell and greet the new one, the real one. The real one is more in alignment with who you really are. And now that you're emerging, you're going to see that real one. You're going to be motivated to move. You're going to feel the movement. And you're going to always want to feel the movement. And this new person coming in, oh boy, yes, I feel their energy right now. they're going to keep you going, man. Woo woo. Nice. It's going to be so empowering and good. They contain their own power, and they're not afraid to use it. And they're alive with a sense of exploration and excitement. They're alive. This new person coming in, they're alive, and they bring you to life, and you feel alive again, and you're able to contain your own energy, and you're not afraid to use it. You're both grown-ups. You're both grown-ups, and that's what's going to happen. I hope you enjoyed your reading. That was very powerful, and I can still feel it. So biggest and brightest of blessings for this holiday season, wrapping up this year of 2018. And I wish you all the best. I will see you in January of 2018. I'm sorry. Wrapping up this year of 2018. And I will see you in January of 2019 with your next readings. And stay tuned and check out my video library. My readings are timeless. You can always go back and look at old ones, and they will still be current to your energy and always be helpful to you. From my soul to yours, Sagittarius, much, much love and brightest blessings. And if you would like to connect with me or donate, the links are in the drop-down box below. Take care. Bye-bye.